Welcome to 3.6 segment constructions. So unfortunately, when I have to make an actual video without the help of PowerPoint, there's not a math funny. So we are going to do all the construction videos in this manner, tweak it as I go, but here we go. Here are your objectives. Excuse me. You're going to develop good construction skills. So I'm going to give you sort of some steps to make sure that happens. We're going to construct a copy of a segment and a bisector of a segment. Okay, just a little review here of sketch, draw, and construct. Remember, sketch is freehand. No tools at all, just freehand. Draw is using all the tools that you can possibly imagine, including a computer. And then construct is when we only use a straight edge and a compass. So here are the guidelines to develop really good construction skills. Okay, first you need to make sure that your compass pencil and your free pencil are very sharp, because the more precise your lines are, the better your construction. Second, you're going to make lines and compass marks. They need to look like eyelashes on the paper, really light, so that in case you mess up, you can erase it really easily. So if you press too hard on your pencil, this isn't going to be good for you. Okay, and then, excuse me as I move this up. Third and most important to me is to be really neat. Okay, you need to align your arcs and your lines to pass through the correct points, and the marks of the compass where the arcs cross are really all you need. That's what's adequate and neat. So if you make too many marks, you can't really tell what you're constructing, and the idea is that I know what you're trying to do. Okay, so if you look with me on page 109, there's actually an example of a bad construction and a good construction. And the bad one is, the lines aren't going through the points or crossing where they're supposed to. So just take a quick look at that. As a review, our first and only construction that we know how to do as of right this second is the circle. So remember that your compass is set at a radius. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and make a mark to make a center of circle. So you can tell where my pivot point is going to be right where that little dot is. So this is my pivot right here, and this is my pencil. Your compass may look different. So that is the width of my radius, and I'm not following my own advice very well by having a sharp pencil. As you can tell, I have a fat line, and usually when I make a circle, I turn the paper. So this is a little bit tricky. Oops. And see, if you mess up, you can just erase. It's not too bad. Okay, sloppy. That's a little bit sloppy, but that's what we're going with right now. So that's just our review. Now today's lesson is we're going to copy a segment. Okay, so given a segment, that's the first step, is you have a segment. Okay, now your book does it a little bit different than I'm going to show you. No, they really don't. Okay, good. The bisector is what I do different. Alright, so the first step is measure with your compass, not measure with a ruler. Super important that you're not measuring with a ruler, because rulers are not part of construction. Right? That's part of drawing. So there's my measurement of my given segment. So what I'm going to do, and I'm doing also a no-no that you are not allowed to do, and that is I'm using a pen. Okay, and I'm using a straight edge, and I am just going to write a random straight line. Okay, I have my exact measurement. I'm going to use the end of my straight line. Let me go ahead and put a point there so you can tell. That's where my pivot is. I've got my measurement. I've got my measurement, and then all I'm going to do is give my compass a little eyebrow right there. So now from this point to this point should be equal, or congruent, if you will. Okay, not too bad, right? hopefully we're all good to go. We know how to copy a segment. Okay, and last but not least, make sure I have this up here. We'll leave it like that. Is to bisect a segment. So first I need a segment to bisect. So I'm going to just draw one. This would be your given. Okay, here's my segment. I'm going to draw points so you can see it better. Okay, your book does do it my way. I must be thinking of something else. I'm sorry. Your book talks about putting your compass on the endpoints. Making sure that is measured correctly. Yep, okay. So now I have a pivot here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my compass up and I'm going to make a little eyebrow on top and a little eyebrow on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it right there and right there. Now I switch my pivot. All I do is I'm going to double check my measurement, make sure that is still halfway, and now I'm going to pivot again. Make a little eyebrow. Ooh, and I'm off down here. Do you see how up here it crossed perfectly, made a little X? That's what I want. But down here, it didn't. So I need to go back to my other side, pivot, and make my eyebrow so that it crosses. Can you see that? Okay, now I would take a straight edge, and I've got a point here and a point here. I'm going to adjust my straight edge. Okay, and when I draw that line, this right here is my midpoint. I just constructed the bisector of a segment so that this side is congruent to this side. Okay, so we're going to practice. You actually are not going to have an SLQ today. We double check that information. Right, so you're not going to submit a summary. You will just have some notes to yourself on what you constructed and any questions, and we'll do practice in class. All right, see you in class.